Hey guys, it's Tim.
And me. I'm here too.
And there's my wife. This is the Dreaming of Disney podcast, coming to you live from our dining room table.
Yes.
And we're wrapping up our Disney World recap. But before we do that, thought we'd switch things up a little bit. I know we've been doing what is this, like our fifth episode on this trip?
It's been long.
Yeah.
So we want to wrap. We're going to wrap it up this time. But we thought we would switch it up the first part and just do a little game.
Yeah, it's a little Disney parks this or that. So I take it it's like, would you rather have this or that type thing?
Yeah.
So
I came up with 14 to ask you, and I didn't really think about my opinion on them either. I just thought of them, and so
I came up with one. So
yeah,
because you know how much I love games.
Yes, he doesn't.
I don't like board games.
This isn't a board game.
That's true.
It's yeah. But why don't we let you start, since I probably have yours as well, and that way you'll get one in. And
all right, so
okay.
this is Disneyland Resort in California.
Okay.
We're walking down. We go through the castle, and we're in Fantasyland. Well, I guess we're either in Fantasyland or in Storybook Land.
Oh wait, I just thought of another one.
So, would you rather have, or I guess it's not would you rather, but a Small World. It's a Small World.
Okay.
Or Peter Pan.
Oh my gosh, I have that one.
Of course you do.
I do. I have that. I'm going to say Small World because it's longer.
Yeah.
Those are my two favorite. Well, we've already talked about our favorite rides, so Small World is. But Peter Pan is up there. And they're my two favorite slow rides. But I'm going to say Small World because it's longer. Peter Pan is awesome, but it's over so quick. So if I had to choose one, I'd pick Small World.
I would pick Small World too, mainly because just of the sentimental value for our family. Just as what we always do. It was like the first ride we've taken all of our kids on.
And that's not true.
It's not?
Jack's was Peter Pan.
Oh, okay.
Noah's was Buzz Lightyear.
Oh, okay.
Boston's was... Oh my God.
Still thinking.
Okay, Boston's may have been Peter Pan too. He was so little, his first trip. And Georgia's was The Little Mermaid.
So none of their first ride was...
No, I wanted Georgia's to be Small World, but her first trip, we actually started in California Adventure.
That's right.
So her very first ride was Ariel, but her first ride in Disneyland was Small World.
Okay. All right, so just Georgia.
But it was Noah's favorite ride for a long time, and
That's
then it
true.
was Boston's favorite ride for a long time.
I guess not first ride. It's just
been a favorite.
It's been a favorite of the family. So.
All right, you ready?
Okay, go for it.
Okay. Churro or Mickey ice cream bar?
Churro.
Oh, that kind of surprises me for you.
Yeah.
A little bit. I'd say churro too.
Yeah. The ice cream bar is a good afternoon snack when it's hot. It's just, you're walking down, you're waiting for for it to thaw a little bit so you can actually bite into it. And then the churro is waiting for fireworks snack.
Or before we leave. We usually get churros before, our last day before we leave.
But if I had to choose one, it would be the churro.
I usually don't get any of the dipping sauces. I'm going to next week. I'm really hoping I can find. I don't even know how I'm going to have time for all the snacks I want to get because we're not even going to be there that long.
Yeah, I know.
I need like the s'mores one. There's a blueberry one right now I want to try. There's several smoothies I want to try. Oh my gosh, I forgot to tell you. You know what I saw today?
What?
The fried green tomato sandwich is back for a limited time at Hungry Bear,
Oh, nice.
which is going to be tough.
Yeah.
Because we wanted to eat in Galaxy's Edge for lunch because
That's right.
we have never done that and we already have dinner reservations. But
Cafe Orleans.
the first night and then the second night we have dinner on our anniversary.
Well,
Lamplight
we
Lounge.
have I guess we're talking about this with everybody else listening as well, but we don't have any reservations for lunch on the second day. So,
But we wanted to go to Galaxy's Edge.
I guess yeah, we're not going to get there in time for lunch on Monday.
We might, or might I just might have to get it for like a late lunch. But then we're eating at Cafe Orleans, and I'll get the Monte Cristo. But it's limited time. This was like my favorite. I loved this
Yeah.
sandwich, and then they got rid of it
Yeah.
years ago, and I've always been, but we still eat there, and I'm always like, oh, I wish they still had this, and they have it right now. Maybe no, because we're doing California the day we leave.
We could mobile order. You can have that, and I can have Galaxy's Edge for lunch.
Oh, we could. And then
We're planning our lunch with
all right.
everybody else.
Anyways,
So
back to this or
if
that.
you guys are interested, that's what we're planning for our trip. That's coming up in a couple of weeks.
Okay, all right. Next one. In a couple, just a week.
In a week.
Yeah. Okay. Disneyland or California Adventure?
Disneyland.
Yeah, that was kind of easy, but I have some easy ones in here. Okay. Popcorn or churro?
Churro.
Yeah, churros always win.
Yeah.
Okay. Space Mountain or Splash Mountain? I know your answer.
Oh, that's easy. Space Mountain.
I know. It's not easy for me. It's really not easy for me. I really don't know. I love Splash Mountain.
Even on the cold winter days.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
They're going to be changing it soon, so it won't exist. So then it would be Space Mountain.
That's true. I wonder when that's going to happen. No information on that yet. So
Yeah, I haven't seen anything. I don't know if I can choose that one. Okay, I'm walking in, and they're like, you can ride one ride today. Only one. Space Mountain or Splash Mountain. I'd go Splash.
yeah,
I think I'd go Splash.
I have one. Since we're in the season of this,
Okay.
Hyperspace Mountain or Space Mountain. So the Star Wars overlay of Space Mountain called Hyperspace Mountain, which is going on right now
Yeah.
through the summer, or the OG
The
Space Mountain.
original. I do love the hyperspace, but I usually go with classics. So I think I'll have to go with the original just because it's like it's the original. Like it's,
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'm a big Star Wars fan, but it's like the way they did it. I mean, it just works so well.
yeah,
It's so much fun.
it's good. It's good.
So I think I would have to go with Hyperspace Mountain. So
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Fireworks or World of Color?
Fireworks.
Yeah.
Come on, I thought these would be harder.
I'm getting harder.
Okay.
I have a couple down here. I think I know your answer to this one too. Rise or Smugglers?
Rise.
Yeah. Rope drop or park close?
That's a good one. I would think just because we haven't done it in a long time, park close.
Yeah, me too. I
Yeah.
love closing out. I haven't done it in years.
It's been a very long time. I think we tried it once and we couldn't last.
Well, the kids just don't make it, and it's not like
we
Jack's
tried
first
when
trip-
we were by ourselves. Oh no, when we went for
No,
our anniversary,
They closed 4 years ago. No. Longer.
2019.
Oh, it's 29. That's right. We went.
They were closing early. I
Yeah.
think they only stayed open till like 8 or 9.
Yeah, they were doing something.
They're gonna be up till they're gonna be open till midnight, but we have the
Gigi,
baby.
so
yeah.
she can't do it. Jack, his first trip, he was a very good sleeper, and he would sleep really well in his stroller and for a long time. So we at least got very, very close to park close with him when he was a baby. But then now it's like our kids don't all fit in strollers. So it's not like they can just sleep and we can keep going. It's like they're tired. They're, they
do beg us to stay up late. I mean, our oldest was just wanting to stay up late tonight.
Like,
and they were like, no, it's a school night. You got to go to bed. We're like, okay, we're here in Disneyland. You stay up till midnight. No, they won't last.
We're always pretty done. But before we had kids and when I used to go, I was both. I was rope drop and park close. Like when I would go with my family, because I was in charge, like everyone is out. We need to be in line. Because this was before, that was going to be a totally made up fact. It wasn't necessarily before Magic Hour. That might have existed. It was way before I ever would have stayed in a Disneyland Resort hotel. Like we were staying at like the Tropicana Inn across the street.
Motel 8.
No, I never went that far. We would just stay in the good neighbor hotels, but it was like the park opens at 8. We need to be over there in line at 7. Early 2000s, park was not nearly as busy as it is now.
That's true.
But I was like, we need to be out of this hotel room by like 7:30. Walk across the street. We're in line. We were there, and then we did not leave until park closed. Like I was like, I made us go all day. But if I had to choose, I would choose park close. We usually do rope drop because we're up anyway because kids are early risers. But I would love to be there till park closes again. Okay. Indiana Jones or Pirates?
That's an interesting one. Oh, man. We don't do Indiana Jones nearly as much.
Well, because we don't have, all of our kids can't ride it.
Yeah.
Or they can all ride Pirates, so we go on Pirates.
As much as it pains me, I have to say Pirates. Because that's just it's a classic on a hot day. It's a good one to just cool off and relax. The last few times that we've gone, I've fallen asleep.
I remember when one of the kids was a baby.
Yeah, that was holding and like.
I think it was Jack. He fell asleep on it.
Fell asleep, and there's a couple times where I've nodded off. A little bit, just because you let the boat, you're rocking, and you're just tired. And the last one, we went back in August. I was having.
Did we ride it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
I was having stomach issues, and so I was just like popping Dramamine all day.
Yeah.
And I took one right before we went on, and oh man, I was so tired, maybe so drowsy.
That's right. All right. Yeah, I'd go with Pirates too. I love Indiana Jones, but again, classic. Toy Story Mania or Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters?
Toy Story Mania.
Yeah, that was pretty easy.
Yeah.
I love Buzz, but the Toy Story Mania is just, it's so fun. Guardians of the Galaxy, whatever the full name of the ride is.
Mission Breakout.
Yeah, or Tower of Terror. Which I just found out that Tower, because in Disney World in Hollywood Studios, they still have Tower of Terror. It's not Guardians, it's still Tower of Terror. Yeah. And I just found out that it's a little different than it was here.
Yeah, because you
move from like different rooms or something. And I'm bummed because we didn't do, the line was always like 75 minutes plus.
Yeah.
And not all the kids can go on it, so we'd have to do rider swap, blah, 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 rider switch. And we were like, okay, we've done it. Like, we don't have, that's not one we have to get to. And I'm like, oh, it's different. But
yeah, next year.
Another time.
Yeah. Because we were pretty upset when we heard out.
I was.
You were upset.
You weren't as upset. I was not into the change.
Yeah. And
to Guardians until I went on it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Disney, like when they say they're going to change something, They always change it. They always make sure that it's better than the original.
I mean, I don't. That's going to be your opinion. I mean, some people might not feel that
That's
way.
true, but
because I will say with this one, without giving any spoilers, if you haven't been on it, they didn't just change the theme. Like it does.
the way the ride moves is totally different.
It's different. It's
Yeah.
not totally. I mean,
It's
it's
not
still like
totally-
the same concept, but
yeah.
it's different.
It's different.
So, which if you haven't been in year, like I really want my sister to come and I'd love both of them. I would love all of my family to come, but no one's
been
on
trying
board.
for a
I've
long
been trying
time.
for years. But I was telling one of my sisters about it and how I was like, I actually really like it. She hasn't been on Tower of Terror in a really long time because she hasn't been with us in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even know if she would remember and realize that it was different.
Yeah.
Where we went, we go often, so it was like I wasn't expecting it. But
I think Guardians.
I think I might say that too.
It's just
I loved Tower of Terror, but
it's just the way they implement the new ride system. I don't know. It's the way it starts out. It's just
It's so good.
fun.
it's so good.
It's
Yeah,
so fun.
Yeah.
And
I can't wait to take Boston on it because he wants to go on it.
yeah. So yeah,
Okay.
Guardians.
Yeah, I think I'm
Guardians of the
gonna say
Galaxy
that.
Mission
It's close.
Breakout.
It's really close. It's close. I wish it was which they couldn't really do this because they totally changed the outside and everything. But it would be cool if it was like Space Mountain, how they do the hyperspace overlay. If every once in a while they could bring back like the Tower of Terror.
Yeah.
And especially when they first opened and like all the cast members were really in character. Over
Yeah.
time, they got out of character.
Yeah.
But when they were first, like really in character, it was super fun. Okay, going across country now, putting a few Disney Worlds in there.
Okay.
Remy's or Frozen Ever After. I may have already done this on another episode. We may have talked about this. I don't know.
I would say Remy's.
I haven't thought about it. I love Frozen.
Mm-hmm.
They were both great.
Yeah.
But if it was like, hey, which one can you bring to Disneyland? Oh, wait, I don't know. I'd say both.
I think Frozen would fit better in Disneyland than Remy's.
Yeah, because Remy's fits really well in Epcot. It's like perfect in France. I think I would say Frozen. Okay. Flight of Passage or Incredicoaster.
Oh wow.
Told you they'd get harder.
Wow. Man, Incredicoaster is awesome. Mm-hmm. It's super fun. Oh man. Like I'm always laughing on Incredicoaster every time I go on it. It's like it's so good.
Flight of Passage made me cry.
Yes, that's true.
And I don't even like Avatar.
I'm gonna have to go with Incredicoaster.
Yeah, me too.
It's
Flight of Passage is amazing, but there's just something special about Incredicoaster. When they rethemed it to Incredibles, outstanding.
Yeah, it was
Outstanding.
perfect.
Okay. Gaston's cinnamon roll or Mickey waffles? What?
You can't see me making my reaction right now.
No,
but you're
like hello, but I don't know what the hello is.
You know,
Gaston's
like
cinnamon
one
roll.
of my favorite breakfast foods are cinnamon rolls. I love cinnamon rolls.
You also love Mickey waffles. We talked about how.
Oh yeah,
amazing they
they're
are.
really good, but cinnamon rolls are my first love.
No, they're my. What are you talking about?
I've always loved cinnamon rolls.
I know, but I'm. You doing like a Freaky Friday where you're me or something because they're like
Gaston
my
cinnamon
top.
rolls.
They're my top favorite food. That's right. Cinnamon roll is my top favorite food. The Mickey waffles were so good.
They were good. But like I've seen videos of people that have like a big Mickey waffle like this big, like the size of like People
He's
can't see my hands,
like a
but
soccer ball.
yeah, like
Not-
powdered
not-
sugar on it.
Powdered sugar.
And these were like
These were like mini, yeah,
ones, but
several,
they're
but
still
they were good.
not Minnie Mouse, but like small,
Small, yeah.
small.
Ones. They were good. But yeah, Gaston cinnamon roll was super good. And we'll get to this. Well, I'll wait. I'll wait to give you because we'll get to that in our quick recap.
Okay.
Last one. You're walking down Main Street.
I'm walking.
This isn't really
I'm smelling
for you.
it. I'm smelling it.
This isn't for you. Although,
Main Street.
oh my gosh, I'm bleeding a little bit. Where did that come from? What happened to my hand? Okay. I know what your answer would have been 3.5, 4 years ago.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure anymore. Walking down Main Street.
Mm-hmm.
You come to the statue.
Mm-hmm.
Park opening.
Okay.
Do you go right or do you go left?
Oh man. Our custom has always been to go right to Tomorrowland.
Mm-hmm.
We hit Buzz Lightyear. We hit Space Mountain.
Yeah, we usually
and then
Space Mountain Rider switch and then hit some Buzz and some.
Yeah,
Star Tours.
Star Tours, and then we head over to Fantasyland behind the back way through through Tomorrowland. But now with Galaxy's Edge,
We had not the last trip, but the last trip before COVID, which was, we went February 2020, we went left at Rope Drop. Mm-hmm. Then that,
we went left.
We went
I
left.
thought you meant we left. I'm like, we left.
no,
Where
no,
did
no,
we go?
we went left.
Oh,
And
yeah,
it felt weird.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, in Zoolander when they can't turn a certain way. They always-
I can turn left. Or is it right? I can't remember.
I can't
think it's
remember
left.
what it-
I can turn left.
oh man, I have to go right.
Yeah, I'm still going right.
I gotta go right. Gotta go to Tomorrowland and hit Space Mountain.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we've talked about this
I
our
don't
next trip
know. I
about
don't know.
what we're going to. Are we gonna rope drop Rise? Well, you're
Because-
not gonna go on it, but I want to go.
I don't
on
know. If we can rope drop it and get a rider switch and we have time, I would go on it. I don't have to. But I'm not going to pay for it. Is
Yeah.
what I'm like, because it's
Yeah.
individual Lightning Lane. I don't want to purchase it. I don't want you to purchase it because I am curious, if we rope drop, what can we do? Mm-hmm. I'm kind of curious to see the timing of it. And if we get there and it's like standbys, not that long, and we're like, hey, rider switch, and I could do the Lightning Lane, I'll do it.
Yeah.
But I don't have to. But so we're like, okay, do we rope drop and try to get Rise, or do we rope drop Space Mountain because Space Mountain no longer has single rider?
Yeah, and it's Hyperspace Mountain now,
Right,
too.
which
So
we
more
wanted.
people
So we
are gonna
both
go on
want to
that.
do it. I think we were going to try to, at least the first day, not purchase Genie Plus, see how the day goes. Especially since it's us with Georgia, and we were going to kind of just focus on having like a chill, do the smaller rides thing. But there's a few that we want to, bigger rides that we want to do, like Space Mountain. So do we rope drop Space Mountain, and then, because most likely that will be a shorter standby than Rise, and then we could get on some other things, maybe like Jungle Cruise and stuff, before the lines get too long.
Yeah,
So we're trying to decide.
yeah. It's
Yeah, I'm not sure.
because everybody's gonna be going to Rise. That's what
Right.
everybody they don't
Probably-
want to purchase individual Lightning Lane, so they want to
Yeah.
rope drop Rise. But you could technically rope drop and go to Space Mountain, do that, and possibly do more, and then take the chance of doing Rise later in the day, as like the last ride.
Like if, obviously Georgia probably can't make park close, we go back, but you could always head back in right before park close.
That's
and
true.
see
I could
about
take the
doing it.
monorail back in.
And I could get a bunch of treats, put the baby down. I'm having a swell night. So,
Too bad,
So-
because we're staying at the Disneyland Hotel. Too bad they don't have a balcony.
yeah, because I can't be
Can't be
Like,
too
they're
loud,
loud, yeah.
with the
with the babies.
baby in there.
Yeah.
So,
All right. So that was that.
and a quandary.
I don't know. I this or that's for Disneyland are just always fun. Me and the boys have been doing a bunch with just rides and we had listened to the Disney World is Awesome podcast, and they did like a March Madness for all the rides, which was really fun. Obviously for Disney World. So if you've been to Disney World and you know the rides, and you go back and listen to their episode of it, it's fun. And then they did it on Instagram, so we could like play along. And there were some tough ones. So the boys and I were having fun listening to that, in the car and playing along with it. But anyways, all right. So we are wrapping up our last 2 days. This is not going to be as detailed. We can get through this. I know we always say that, but really, because we've gone through our first impressions pretty much. But we started the day after our rough Epcot day. We were going to park hop. So we started in Hollywood Studios. We really wanted to get the Indiana Jones stunt show since it was down. We only got the first 5 minutes of it on our other day. So I also really wanted to do Walt Disney Presents. So it's like I can't remember the name of it. Maybe it was that years ago during the 50th. And then after they had it in Disneyland, and their little like video at the end had like Steve Martin, because he used to work at Disneyland when he was
Magic
like
Shop.
a teenager.
Yeah.
And it was so funny. And I loved that. And then they have like the museum, and they have like the models, the original models of the Disneyland park, and it's just like a little museum of the history. So Walt Disney Presents is that, and I really wanted to do that. So I took the boys in with me, and it was neat because they were all interested in it. Mm-hmm. I thought they would maybe be bored, and I was kind of taking my time, but there were even parts where I kind of sped up, and they were kind of falling behind, and they were looking at things and reading things and like into it, and so that was fun. And it was really neat. I love Disney history, like Disneyland in the 60s. Like, oh my gosh. Like, I would just love to. That's like my favorite. And then at the end, there's, like a 15, 20-minute video about, the history of Walt Disney. So that was really cool. And then we did the Indiana Jones stunt show. So I got the whole thing this time.
Yeah, that was really cool. And I've heard about it for years and always wanted to check it out. So it was fun. It was cool.
Fun. Yeah, the boys got a kick out of it.
They're like, "Is that they're really gonna have explosions?" Like, yeah, they're gonna have explosions. And like, that's a real explosion! Whoa! So they got a kick out of all the
which they've never seen the movies. Yeah, they've never seen the movies, so they but they still really enjoyed it.
At night would be cool.
Well, when we left, it started back up our first day in Hollywood because we went. It was down. So they only did the first one, which was like 5 minutes, but they got it back up. So when we were walking out of Hollywood Studios, we could see like big flames.
Yeah.
And we showed the boys, and they were like, "What? Is that real fire?" So then we went back to the hotel and just kind of chilled for a little bit.
Iced my foot.
Yeah, Georgia took a nap. You did not get a Jazzy this day. You
I
didn't
did not
get a scooter. We kind of
probably
tried to just...
should have.
Probably. And, we put Georgia down for a nap and just kind of like laid low. I think we had lunch back at I don't remember, but it doesn't matter. Yep. Nobody cares. So then we headed back into Epcot at night. We really wanted to see Spaceship Earth lit up. And so we headed back in pretty much just like at dinner time. Like we went in and went straight to dinner. Yeah,
we went was it the Land? Is that what it's called? The Land, that building that has Soarin' in it.
Yeah, so that's interesting too. Like when you go into this building and Soarin' is inside a building, which a lot of the...
It was like a 3-level, like almost like... looked like almost like a mall.
Yeah, and there's a restaurant. There's a couple, I think, restaurants. And there's Soarin',
Living with the Land.
Living with the Land.
We went on that. That was another...
So we got dinner, and then we did Living with the Land. There was like a 5-minute. We walked right on, which is kind of neat that it's like right outside of a quick service restaurant because we ate, and then you just like walk right onto a ride, and it's all indoors, and that's not something you see in Disneyland and California. Like all the lines are. You might walk inside like Pirates. You eventually get inside, but the rides. It's like what you said. It's like a mall. It's like you walk into this building, and like on the bottom level, you go to Soarin' and Living with the Land. Yeah, so it's just different. got a good dessert. They had some neat 50. They had like the Remy's cheesecake,
Yeah,
but it
yeah.
looked like a piece of cheese. And then I got like a
It's like, was it a cupcake or a tart or
it was
something?
good.
Like
I don't
50th
know.
anniversary
It was really
something.
pretty. And then we did Live In With the Land. Which when I started listening to Disney World podcasts and following Disney World Instagram pages, I kept hearing a lot about. It's just like you go through. So they have. How would you do that?
It was like,
So Disney World grows
they grow their own food.
a lot of the food that they use
Yeah.
in the restaurants, which is cool.
Yeah.
And so you're on this boat and you go through and they show you where they're growing this stuff and like how they use technology to like keep it up. I wasn't really listening, honestly. It if you're not into it, it's extremely boring.
Yeah, it's like a science project.
I told the boys, I was like, all right, because I homeschool. I said, all right, science, check. We have done science today. We did history this morning with Walt Disney Presents. Now we're doing science. We're good.
Yeah, it's just like the Earth's different like ecosystems and how humans can make best use of the land and for a better tomorrow and stuff like that. So it's like a slow boat ride that went on and on and on. I mean, I found it interesting, but it's no thrill ride.
No. So then when we came out of that building, the sun had gone down, so Spaceship Earth was lit up. Mm-hmm. And it's like every other focal, what would you call it?
Monument
In all the other parks. It is awesome at night.
Yeah.
And they had like a little show, like would play music and the lights would change and be different shapes and it would look like the globe. It was really cool.
Yeah, it was.
Really cool. Did you hear like a cat or something?
or windows still open.
Yeah. We're trying to get pictures and video of it. Of course, it doesn't do it justice, but I'll post some this week because it's really cool. So then we did the ride inside of it, Mission
Earth.
Mission Earth.
Is it?
No,
It's just
Earth.
Spaceship Earth.
It was interesting. It was long.
It was long.
It's slow. You ride up. It's basically the history of
Communication. Human communication.
You ride all the way up to the top, and then you ride all the way down. So it was interesting. It was I think the boys were a little bored, but I'm sure it's like a sentimental ride for people who grew up with it.
They may. I think I read something that they're going to be refurbishing that. They're going to be
Really?
updating it.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. But really, the highlight was honestly with it lit up.
Yeah.
I'll post some because it really was really cool. And that was it. We went back, and it was a much better day. It was chill. We only wanted to do a couple things in each park. It wasn't like this big rush to try to fill it, fit everything in. We weren't going to try to double up on anything really because we just wanted it to be chill, and it was nice. So our last day was...
We didn't see Harmonious. We didn't watch Harmonious.
We didn't. We watched that on YouTube when we got home.
Yeah. We're like...
It just was too.
We're
Was too
tired.
much. It was too much, and it was like, yeah, it was just too much, and we just didn't want to push. Last day was a full day in Magic Kingdom, and again, it went a lot better. Like we got in, I think a little after. We didn't push ourselves too much. We had gotten Genie Plus. We had gotten it for Peter Pan because we hadn't done that. I wanted to get Peter Pan done. I wanted to get Mickey's PhilharMagic because we hadn't done that. Mm-hmm. Splash Mountain because it was closed our first day, but it was reopening during our trip. It had been closed for a while, but it reopened during our trip. And I wanted a Gaston Cinnamon Roll. I think that was kind of it. Like that was like, okay, those are the things
and
we want to get done.
We had to take
and we hadn't done
pictures.
family pictures in front of the castle, and so I was like, okay. I had, Georgia had her Snow White costume that I had been gifted at my baby shower. and it worked out perfectly that it fit her during our Disney World trip. And the boys with their, so she was dressed up as Snow White, and then I got different shirts for all of you for different dwarves that fit your personality. So I was excited about that. So yeah, pictures. That was the cast member who like wouldn't speak to us.
That's right. That's right.
And then, we forgot on Hollywood. We wanted to do Rock and Roller Coaster.
That's
so
right.
So if you remember from our first day in Hollywood, the single rider line got closed because the wait was over an hour. So then they closed the single rider line. So our second morning, you went in single rider.
Yeah.
And you come back and you're like, I was like, oh, hopefully he doesn't tell me that he tells me it's not worth it, because I don't know if we have the time. He tells me it's worth it. I think
it was so awesome.
You say, I think you'll love it. We need to make sure you do it. Okay. We get lunch. We head over there. They had closed the single rider line because the standby was too long. So I didn't get to do it. And
I waited a long time.
Yeah, you waited a while. I can't remember what we did.
It was over 30 minutes in single rider.
So
it's
hopefully next year I'll get to do it.
It's it's a fun indoor roller coaster.
Yeah, I'm trying to not hear anything about it. Still,
okay, I won't tell you.
I don't want to know anything about it.
So back to
Magic Kingdom.
Kingdom.
So the Gaston cinnamon roll, I had heard about this, and I wasn't thinking much of it, honestly, because I am very, like I said, cinnamon rolls are like, they're my favorite food. Cinnamon rolls, macaroni and cheese, and
you sound like a 5-year-old.
Well, that's okay, because they're good. They're good, but I'm picky about my cinnamon rolls.
No, that's true. That's true.
So I was like,
gourmet.
okay, I want to get it, but like, when people are like, oh, here's a cinnamon roll, and it's like a morning bun, I'm like, no, that's a cinnamon.
A sticky bun.
A sticky bun is not a cinnamon roll. So I'm thinking, you had the kids. I can't remember what you're doing, but I went by I had the stroller. No, I had the stroller because as I'm walking, I see this line out of Gaston's Tavern, and is that what it's called? Gaston's Tavern?
Yes, it is.
And because I'm thinking, okay, I'll get 2. I'll get one for you and I'll get one for me. And I wasn't going to get one for the boys. They had breakfast. So I'm walking up and I see people walking out and they're huge. And I was like, oh, well, I don't even know if I could eat one of those. Okay, I could. I totally could. But I don't. I wanted to, but I wasn't going to. So I was like, okay, I'll just get one. I should just get one. And they looked good. They looked promising. And so I order, and I'm like, okay, just order one. Don't get 2. Save the money. Just get one. You can share that easily. So I got 2 coffees and 1 cinnamon roll. So that's what I say. He puts out 2 cinnamon rolls and 1 coffee. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I said 2 coffees and 1 cinnamon roll. And he's like, oh, and he looks at his receipt. He's like, oh, you're right, you did. He's like, well, I can't put it back, so you can just have it. I was like, yes.
All right. So 2 for 1.
So we got a cinnamon roll for free. So we shared it with the boys. And you posted a reel last week.
Yeah.
Showing it. And it was good.
It was
not my top.
No, not top.
Not my very top cinnamon roll. Those are local to where we are. But these were close. Like, they were good. They were good cinnamon rolls.
It's different. It was more of a...
That's right. It had like a maple...
It was like a maple glaze on it. So it wasn't like your typical like cinnamon and cream cheese frosting.
Right.
But it had this maple glaze, which kind of gave it a different flavor.
It was good. It was really good.
It was really good.
Oh, and I have to mention my favorite area in Magic Kingdom was... right after Small World, you're walking like towards, I don't even know what's over there because I'm not super familiar. I think like Haunted Mansion is over there.
Yeah.
There's a Tangled area. There's some Tangled bathrooms, and it just looks like the kingdom in Tangled. Mm-hmm. And I love Tangled, and it was my favorite area. I just wanted to sit there. They have lanterns, and we weren't there at night, but I've seen pictures since, and the lanterns, of course, light up. The bathrooms were just great, and the mural painted on the side. I want my niece to paint all over my house because she's an amazing artist. Yeah, so just mentioning that. Then we went on Splash, and Obviously, I've already stated one of my favorites, but I remember when I was little seeing commercials for Disney World, and it was two-seater. Like you're sitting
2x2.
2x2. And always when I was really little being like, that's not Disneyland. Like, what are they done? Not realizing that, oh, this is for Disney World. And for some reason, I was like excited by that. But I was mostly excited because in the past I have gotten Boston to go on it when he was only, it was our last trip before 2020. So he was almost 4. He wasn't even 4 yet, but he could go on it.
That's right.
And he loved it.
Yeah.
He went twice. The older 2 boys, I had not been able to get on it. When we went in August last year, 2021, I got Noah to go on it with me in Disneyland. And he was like, I don't know. It was okay. Disney World, I got Jack, who is the hardest to get on rides. He was like, yeah, I want, but he had really liked Slinky. He was going on roller coasters. He was going Slinky Dog, Thunder Mountain.
They all wanted to go on rides that had drops.
Yeah, which they used to hate. Jack used to hate Pirates because of the drop.
Yeah, which is like not even a drop.
Because he didn't like that feeling. And all of a sudden, he's like, I like them, which is great.
Yeah.
So I took Noah and Jack, and they sat behind me so that I could record them. And yeah, they really liked it. It was fun. It was a little different inside, but basically the same. And then you and Boston went on it. And that was kind of it. I got a treat. I got that cat. Was it Cattail?
I took
Which was a
the
good
boys
treat.
on the Barnstormer.
Oh yeah.
Which is it's obviously a kiddie roller coaster.
Yeah. And it was super short.
It was like 20 seconds.
And kind of like the one they're redoing it. That was in Toontown.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called, but like
it's a goofy. No, it's not a goofy one. It's a dragon. Is it a dragon?
In Toontown?
Yeah. I don't
remember. Anyways.
And then we went on Small World.
That's right. We got on Small World. I think we had a Genie Plus for that. Because we did do Genie Plus this day. So we were kind of churning them. And Small World was interesting because, I mean, I love all of the art for Small World. Anything Small World themed, if you could see my phone, you would know. Or my purse, or I have a lot of Small World themed things. Like I just love it. The clock, the outside of the ride, like I love it. And this was weird because it's all inside. So like when you walk by, it takes you a minute to realize it's Small World. And then when you get inside the building, that's when there's the clock. So that was interesting. I definitely prefer it at Disneyland. It's like huge in there and you can always see it. And the ride I think was a little different, but pretty much the same.
It was a little different, yeah. It was shorter.
It was shorter. And then I think we just got dinner. We got dinner somewhere in tomorrow. Oh no, we did Space Mountain.
We did Space
Mountain. Which I also got the boys to go on. The boys wanted to go on it again. So if you have followed on Instagram, I have posted, I think a few times now, the picture of the first time we took Jack and Noah on Space Mountain when they were younger. And they are terrified and would never go on it again. But they both wanted to go on it. So we were pretty excited.
Yeah.
So I take them first.
Yes, you went first. Yeah. We got Genie
sounds
Plus
like I'm
for
always taking Jack and Noah, and this is because Boston was refusing to ride any ride with me
Boston
the entire trip.
was a terror.
He did not want to ride any ride with me. So I was always with the older two, which fine. It was better than in past years when they've all refused to ride rides with me because they all want to go with Dad. But it was not the same. It is like Matterhorn, where you are sitting single file.
Mm-hmm.
So
and they have 2 tracks
3.
going at the same time.
We had Genie Plus, but the Lightning Lane was a little long.
Yeah.
It was okay. It was different. It's not the same. It is not the same.
It's nowhere near the same. And I would say out of all the rides that we went on at Disney World, this was my most disappointing ride.
Test Track.
More than Test Track. More than Test Track. Because
Okay.
Space Mountain is my favorite ride.
Right. That's not what you said in our top favorite rides.
What did I say? I already forgot. Was it
I
Rise?
thought you said Rise. Or did you say Space? We'll have to go back and listen.
It's one of the... Those are my top two. And I was expecting... I knew it was different. I knew that. And I knew it was the single file type ride car. But as we were going through the line, I'm like... And we get close to where you load into the ride. I'm like, this looks like Matterhorn. And I'm like, it better not be like Matterhorn, or I'm going to be mad. I'm going to pull a Boston and say, this is lame.
This is lame.
Scream, this is lame at the end. And we get in and we sit and it's like, this is exactly like Matterhorn. And then we go up and I'm like, we're going through the ride and I'm like, I am angry.
It was the
I'm
same
not
track
angry,
as
but
Matterhorn.
yeah,
It's the same like dark and all of that, but I'm sorry, I need to
Laundry
remember,
time.
I need to remember to turn that off when we do this. But it was like the same track and the same kind of jerkiness. Also, I really didn't like what the picture was. So you know, if you go to Disneyland, you're coming in fast at the end, and the picture, it's just like good timing.
Yeah.
The picture was in a really odd spot.
Yeah, I don't even remember.
You weren't going fast. You had like almost stopped, if I remember correctly. It wasn't like I was like, that's not going to be a good reaction picture. And then I couldn't even find it when we got off. And something was going on where we wanted to hurry. I think we needed to eat, or I needed to get back to you in Georgia or something. So we were trying to find it. We couldn't find it. No, that was a different ride. This one we could find, but our picture was not coming up. We were waiting and waiting, and it was not loading. But I remember seeing the flash, and I was like, we were like slowly going around a corner at the end. Like it wasn't like the Disneyland ending.
Yeah.
So I was like, that stinks. Like,
Yeah. And it's like, I hear all these people talking about how Space Mountain's their favorite ride at Disney World. And I was like, you don't even know.
You need to go to
You
Disneyland.
don't even know what Space Mountain truly can be.
Or when I hear people talking about like, it would be great if there was some kind of Cars ride. I'm like, oh, you need to go to Disneyland because Racers. Like, oh, it's so.
Yeah.
Like-
But yeah, I was so disappointed at the end of
Yeah.
Space Mountain because that was like, I kept saying this. That's the one thing I want to go on.
Yeah, you really wanted to do it.
I really want to do it. It was the last day. It was the last ride of the last day.
It was. Yeah.
And I was so sad.
But the thing is that I always view, and this is how I viewed when we went to Disneyland Paris and there was lots of disappointments. At least we favor the one we live closest
That's
to
true.
and
That's
go to frequently. Because it
Yeah.
was kind of like I wasn't, even though there was like more letdowns than I expected in the overall trip, it was like, well, good. Because
Yeah.
what if we liked Disney World better? We live across the country. It's a lot harder to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we had dinner. I forget what it's called. I just saw a
It was a
fact about
tomorrow.
it.
It was a Tomorrowland.
Yeah,
Galactic Grill. No, that's the one in Disneyland.
Because I
Tomorrowland
recently
Grill
read,
or something like
I
that.
recently read that it is the most. It has the most customers out of like any restaurant in the U.S. Remember, I read like that fact.
Yeah.
Oh, it's closed now, so I can't look on the app, and I'd have to look at like. Maybe will it come up if I look at dining?
It should.
Oh yeah. No, that's Galactic Goodies.
Galactic Goodies.
Cosmic Rays.
Cosmic Rays. Yep.
It has like the most visitors out of like any restaurant in the U.S. or
Well, it's,
something
like, one of the
crazy like
busiest
that.
areas.
It's one of the busiest like in the world. It was a
Yeah.
crazy fact. I'm not going to say numbers or anything but it was a crazy fact. So we got dinner there, and then it was and Georgia had a blowout on her Sleeping Beauty
That's
not
right.
Sleeping Beauty, Snow White dress. She had a blowout, so I had to take care of that. And then, but I was glad that it was at the end of the day and after pictures. So then it was night. Cinderella's castle at night during the
it's so
50th. You
awesome.
guys, is beautiful. Like, I could have stared at it for hours. like, I mean, sentimentally and my heart, all of that is with Sleeping Beauty's castle in Disneyland, always. But I will say, Cinderella's castle is awesome.
Yeah.
And at night, it is beautiful. Like, whew, I'm looking at pictures right now. Oh my gosh. Amazing. Amazing. So we weren't planning on watching the fireworks. I was pretty done. We were flying the next day, flying home. I wanted a treat, as usual. So we got a treat, and then we went to leave. Or actually, it might have been vice versa. It doesn't matter. But they were taking us down a side alley to get out of the park to avoid all the people that were lining up on Main Street, because at this point it was pretty close to fireworks starting. And, so Main Street is packed. So they have you go down a side alley. And we were like, this is a perfect spot. There's no one around.
Yeah.
This is a perfect spot. You had like a very, I wouldn't say perfect, but a very good view of the castle. And it was not crowded. So we were like, maybe we should, like, last night, like, hang out and watch the fireworks. I went and got a treat. Got back. We watched the fireworks from there.
Well, no, you were going to go a treat. I was going to save our spot.
Yeah.
And then I get a spot. I'm like, this is the perfect spot. There's nobody around. And then Jack says he needs to go to the bathroom.
This kid, his entire life. Well, I won't
Has
say
the
his entire life.
worst
Since he was potty trained.
for going to the
has
bathroom.
always had the worst timing. Like,
And I was
for
like,
the last
buddy,
10 years.
are you serious? He's like, can you hold it? No, I got to go right now. I'm like, okay. So I text you, and you're getting your treat.
Did you have Georgia? No, you didn't have Georgia.
No, you had Georgia.
I had Georgia.
And so we booked it. We booked it to the bathroom.
Do they have bathrooms at the end by the firehouse, like in Disneyland? Oh,
yeah, so that's where we went, and we booked it. And we get in there. I'm like, buddy, you go as fast as you can, because we don't have time.
I'm like, this is our last night. We don't get to
He's
do
okay, I'll go fast. And
Poor guy.
So he goes, we're done, and then we book it back. I think we had like a couple minutes left.
Yeah, because I was like, where are you?
Yeah.
And my phone, my like texts weren't going through. I was getting a little anxious because people were like, more people were figuring this out and stopping. Well, which is probably
And
every
you
night.
weren't
but
there where we had found our spot.
No,
So-
I thought you were up farther. So I was standing there and people are just crowding around. And I was getting a little like, so yeah, you finally you text me and
Yeah.
we're back. And so,
Yeah.
but it was a really good spot. I was getting really nervous just because I was like, okay, all of these people are leaving. They're all going down this alley, but they're stopping to watch the fireworks, which means they're all going to be leaving at the same time, which means the line for the bus is going to be long. And I was just tired. It was the last day,
Yeah.
and I was just thinking about all that we had to pack and do for our flight. We didn't need to leave the hotel till like 11, but still, but the fireworks are awesome.
Yeah.
And this was neat because the first night at Magic Kingdom when we watched them, we were on Main Street and we couldn't really see the castle. I think you could because you're tall, but the boys and I couldn't really see the castle.
Yeah.
But here on the side, like, so if you're on Main Street and you're looking down at the castle, we were on the right. So we were like down this alley on the right, and we could see the castle. There was only a couple people in front of us before like a big gap of the next group, so we didn't really have anyone blocking us, and yeah, I was glad because I was like, okay, it's a good way to end. And then when we're leaving, we're getting in line for the, and that was the longest. I think the longest.
We waited almost an hour for the bus.
And the boys are like falling asleep and crying because it's our last day, and they're like,
they're crying.
and
They're
I mean,
sad.
like Jack, he's 11, and so he's not like throwing a fit. He's just like sadly, quietly crying.
One little tear.
And I'm like, but he's like, I've just had so much fun. Which we were happy about because we were like up and down all the time with fun and being miserable. No, I wouldn't say miserable, but stressed fun. The boys just had a great time. Yeah, so it was a long trip back to the hotel though.
Yeah, it was.
We waited a long time. They were so, and we couldn't wake up. We were trying to get Boston up when the bus finally got
yeah.
there, and we were having a hard time. But you have to collapse your stroller. So I'm wearing Georgia. The two older boys are super tired. Boston, we're having a hard time waking him up because he was sitting in the stroller.
Yeah.
We're like, no, you got to get up because we got to collapse the stroller, and we could barely.
I
get
ended
him
up picking him up and carrying the stroller at the same time.
You didn't carry him on. No, because I pushed him onto the shuttle.
Oh, did
Yeah, I pushed.
I remember picking him up.
No,
and be
because
like,
I kind of had to. I was holding her, but I kind of had to lift him up the steps. There was one point when getting out where a man helped us. You had to carry him off.
That's right.
He
I
fell
carried him off.
asleep on the bus ride back
Yeah.
to the hotel, and we
Yeah.
couldn't wake him up.
That's right.
And so a man took our stroller off
That's
for
right.
us so you could carry him.
That's right.
Yeah, which was very nice. But yeah, and that was it. The next morning, I think we got some waffles. The boys just kind of hung out, watched the animals outside of our room while we
Yeah.
packed, and
Yeah.
headed to the airport.
And, got back home.
Had a
and
very long, long flight.
long
home.
flight home.
But yeah. So I mean, overall, like we said, like lots of ups and downs. But like, this far out now, it's been almost 3 months. Like, with the thinking about going back with the kids, I'm like. Just well, and part of that is
Maybe
the
not
travel.
as long next time.
Not as long, and the travel.
Yeah.
We're in California, so that's a lot. Next trip to Disneyland doesn't stress me out with them at all, you know. But thinking about if you and I get to go by ourselves for our 15th next year, like I can't wait.
I know it's gonna be so
Like
much fun.
I think we learned a lot,
Yeah.
and so it's not like I'm like down on it at all. Disneyland is absolutely my favorite, but like I don't like. I wouldn't say don't go. Like
Yeah.
I can't wait to go again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is one thing that we didn't do that you can't wait to do when we go, just us?
World Showcase.
Yeah.
Just going back through the countries, trying foods from all the different countries. I can't wait. Like I'm really excited about Epcot because I was before, and then we got there, and it just was lots of things were wrong about that day. But yeah, I think just really enjoying Epcot as adults, not parents. Also, there's going to be, their Guardians of the Galaxy ride is opening in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
At the end of the month. So that will be open when we go. And I'm really hoping Tron will be open
Yeah.
when we go. I don't think they've set a date for that
No,
yet.
just sometime. I think summer. Sometime
Because
this
we
year.
saw them, they're building it right now and it's huge.
Yeah.
And so I really hope that's open. Yeah, I think, I'd like to eat at the, is it
Space 2020. That
Space
was
20.
my one thing.
I'd like to eat there.
Because, Guardians wasn't open, so I don't count that. Tron wasn't open, so I don't count that. But I really wanted to eat at the Space 2020.
Which one popped open,
It did.
but it was going to be like kind of bad timing.
And we
it was
also
just
splurged a lot
We
with-
splurged on Be Our Guest, and we were just like,
And this is comparable pricing. Actually, it's a
Yeah.
little bit more
oh, is it?
than
Yeah,
Be Our Guest.
and we were
so.
just like, no, we're not up for that. But yeah, I think like the dining and the food and all the adult things.
Mm-hmm.
If we have a chance to like check out some of the resorts more, which I don't know, we probably would. I mean, I think we're going to try to do some days a different city in Florida, do like some beach time
Yeah,
in Florida
yeah.
too. So, so it won't be all spent there. But
But I think we're
Yeah.
set on wanting to stay at the Riviera.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, that's the only other resort we went to.
Mm-hmm.
My criteria is I want to stay at one that the Skyliner
Yeah.
goes to. So yeah, well, I mean, we'll have to see what's available and and all of that. But yeah.
Yeah. And so for everyone that's knowing the drama of my foot, because I know everyone was worried about my foot.
You guys all, that's why you're listening.
That's
what happened?
what happened to your foot? Well, we got home, and it was got home on Wednesday,
Thursday.
Thursday, and then on Saturday I woke up my
Or
foot.
maybe Wednesday. I don't know.
my foot was black and blue and swollen. I'm like, okay, that's not good.
Okay, there was a section that was bruised. It wasn't your entire foot.
It wasn't my fault, but
sounds-
it was pretty. It was
the
pretty
back.
blue.
The back of your ankle had like a pretty good bruise on it.
Yeah, but it wasn't there the entire time.
No.
And then, so I went to urgent care. Ended up Achilles tendonitis.
And so you had to wear a boot for
I had to wear a
a week.
boot in a week.
And he
it's
said that you were close to a
was
tear.
close to tearing it, where I would need surgery.
So yeah. So good thing you got the scooter on the day. Probably should have gotten it the other 2 days after.
Yeah, I just don't want to slow you guys down.
Yeah. Well,
So, but now it's acting up again right before we go to Disneyland. So I've been on it a little bit more than I should have been. But
yeah, we'll see. What
so
happens.
I'll make sure to wear proper footwear.
Yeah.
Because all these years, like I've always wore Converse, and my dad has always gone on to me, don't wear Converse. It doesn't give you good support. And now I'm old. I'm 35, and it's coming to bite me in the butt now.
Okay.
And now, because of my love of Converse, it's they're turning on me.
Yeah.
So
It's too bad.
All right.
Well, that is the end of our Disney World recap.
that was
Finally.
so long. That was so long.
But I wanted to finish. I didn't want to like just stop in the middle. Like
Yeah.
I just, for me personally, I wanted to finish it.
So what are we going to talk about now?
Well, I have ideas. Just like I have a bunch of this or that's, and you came up with one. I've got a list on my phone of podcast ideas.
Cool.
So-
Cool.
So yeah,
All right. So I guess we'll end it here. We're
Yeah.
only about an hour. It's not too bad.
that's not bad
Okay.
for doing the two different
Yeah. So
things. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, dreaming.of.disney.podcast.
and please leave us a review. Tell us how much you love us.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it. As the Emperor says from Star Wars. So, all right, we'll end it. So,
right.
thanks for watching. Or, you didn't watch us. If you're watching this, it's creeping me out. Where are you right
How
now?
are you watching?
Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
And
Stay tuned for more Disney talk.
and we'll
That's
I'm sure
what we do.
we will recap our Disneyland trip
Yeah.
coming up. So,
Yeah.
all right. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.